And we'll make sure that we're recording. Yeah, okay. Once again, hey everybody, welcome to Spring 2019. This is Joe Bullis. I'm your clinical coach, and you guys are just about to finish up. I mean, that has got to feel good. The light is at the end of the tunnel. And then, once you get past spring semester, 605 summer semester is going to go by really quick with the 10 weeks. So congratulations on that. Tonight, I did want to, first of all, like I said, welcome you back. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the CAP, a little bit about how your semester started, and kind of just review a few things. You're 604 now, and this is somewhat routine for you. I know you're getting used to a new course instructor and how they do things and run their class, and that, of course, that can cause a little bit of a transitional challenge. But at 604, you guys are pretty much on track to get where you need to go and have everything ready. Um, I did want to. I'm sharing my screen. Make sure you guys can see the MELS 604, SCIP, and CAAP scale handbook. But I do want to pull up my Google Drive here, and just kind of go over this right here. This is something that Dr. Lamb used in his welcome back to the legacy candidates, which that is, you're in that group. And looking down here at 604, just kind of review this real quick. I know it's repetitive for you, but really the only thing you got to worry about is your DRF portfolio and evidence for the SCIP and the CAAP. Do not have to do anything with the School of Ed dispositions or the competency analysis and task stream. You're off as far as those two things go in the semester. So when you pull up your DRF and task stream under 604, you're just going to see a place to submit the evidences, the SCIP and the CAAP. Also, you will need to make sure. I know some of you have worked ahead. Some of you are. I think everybody. I think you're either all of you are ahead or right on track with your competency folio. But at the end of 604, wherever you're at, even if you might be a little behind, you should have a second round of all the 21 competencies and evidences. And all that is, I know we've kind of, the university's kind of changed their thinking on that a couple of times, but I want to go ahead and address that tonight. In the competency analysis, and I got this straight from Dr. Lamb, and you probably heard it when he did his Zoom session at the beginning of the semester. In the competency folio, all you got to do is just upload your artifacts, your screenshots, your agendas, your minutes. If you took a picture of you leading the PLC or leading your group, even a presentation can be uploaded. That's just hard copy, so to speak, products of your activities. No narrative. So that's the final word on that. Now, in a couple of years, they'll probably change it again, but that's okay. This semester, we're going to go with that. So all you need to do is no narrative in your competency folio. All you have to do is upload your artifacts and the products, the things that were created by your actions from going through the different evidences. So just wanted to make sure that we got that cleared up at the beginning of this semester. Let me go back, and I do want to go back to my Google Drive tonight. 604. Tonight I've got on track on our schedule to kind of do an overview, which we just already did that. Talk about CAP task 1 and task 2, and also just kind of review real quickly the internship shell in Blackboard. The process is still the same as it has been for the last 3 semesters. I do know there was a little bit of a discrepancy between what I think Dr. Sanders was telling you as far as tracking through your course shell and what I had here on the schedule, but that's fine. I know she's, if I understand correctly, and if that's changed or something different, somebody unmute and let me know what's going on. But the way I understand it, you guys are focusing on the CAAP first. Okay, that's what we're going to go over tonight. And really, the CAAP is you can pull a lot, which you may already realize this, but you can pull a lot in the CAP from what you've done in the APSL and the APTL. So let's pull up the scale handbook and let's talk about that. I'm going to scroll on down to the let's see. Let's get on down here to the rubric. Okay. Basically, this first task is just an analysis of the teacher working condition survey. You did a lot of that probably in the APTL. So once again, you know, you can pull your demographics from the school that you're working at. Oh, I did want to mention that if anything has changed in your status, if you're at a new school or you've got a new site supervisor, a new principal, or some of you may have been hired as an AP at this point. If anything has changed in those lines, or if you're at a new school, if you're teaching a different grade level, it's not that big a deal, or a different subject area, it's not that big a deal. But if you're at a new school or you have a new principal or whoever's supervising you is new, send me an email and let me know so we can make sure that we process that and get that taken care of with Garden Web. Just make sure we handle that and get that noted. But once again, on CAP Task 1, it's the teacher working condition survey. As you want to do the demographics like you have in the last other evidences. But here you can pull a lot of that information that you worked on in teacher working condition survey and APTL, pull it right into the CAAP, and it's basically you just analyze the results of the teacher working condition survey. You analyze that, you present that data, and you relate it to empower. Here, these are your subheadings, as it says here in the rubric. You relate it to empowerment, leadership, facilities, resources, and time, which is a lot of what you did in the APTL. And I'm looking at the proficient here. Then you conduct a needs assessment that clearly references data analysis, process of collaboration, and to develop needs assessment. So based on that information, and you can look at other data as well. This is when I know some of you wanted to do discipline or attendance or PBIS stuff. This is where you can really pull that information in as well. We'll talk a little bit about that in task 2. But you analyze that teacher working condition survey, just like you did in the APSL. You conduct a needs assessment and identify those areas that need attention, identify the needs and the gaps, and include strategy to improve the school environment. This is all about culture, the culture of the school and the environment for teaching and leading, with attention to diversity and equity. So good time to pull in. You got your scores in from last year. Your subgroups. There's some discrepancy in your subgroup achievement. You guys are focusing on that. Good time to pull that in as well. How are your subgroups treated in the school? How is your EC working? How your EC department and your special needs children? How do they flow through the day? Your EL English language learners. How do they flow through the day? How's the day process? How's attention to detail given to those particular needs? 504s can come into play there as well. And then you can break it down in gender. You can break it down into race. So you can pull all that together. And in CAP 2, task 2, excuse me, this is what I'm talking about when I said you can pull in PBIS information. You can pull in attendance information. You can pull in discipline. It's just a qualitative look. Quantitative, as you know, is all about numbers and pulling in test scores and responses to surveys and stuff like that. Qualitative is what you observe. Is as you go through the school, you want to give a really good look in and out of the school, not just the school, but even the surrounding community. Just kind of what do you observe going on at the school in regards to culture? Do you, I don't know, do you have some lunch buddies that come in and eat lunch with the kids? Are they sponsored by a bank or has a grocery store or any other business adopted your school and they provide support and resources to your school? It's all about that stuff. How does as you walk around the school and you look at the way the school flows and what the bulletin board says, what's on your marquee, what qualitative information can you gather? So task 1 and 2 is looking at the whole culture of the school. Task 1 is quantitatively and task 2 is qualitatively. And you just write that up in a narrative. And like I said, you can pull a lot of that information from your APSL and your APTL as well. So that's task 1 and task 2. Any questions? All right. As I've told you 100 times before, if we get off the air here and you have a few questions, always send me an email. You know, guys know how to get in touch with me. And you know, if I don't contact you within 24 hours, and shoot me another email or give me a call and say, hey, I'm looking for you, but you haven't responded. Sometimes it kind of gets lost. I'm teaching, or excuse me, I got 601. I got 2 601 cohorts, a 602 cohort, a 604 cohort, and a 605 cohort. So I'm getting a lot of emails this semester. So if I don't respond to you within 24 hours, hopefully that it wouldn't happen, but it could have got lost in the emails that I get. So just make sure that you reach out to me again. I don't want to leave anybody hanging or any questions you may have. Let's go and make sure once again, any questions on CAP 1 and CAP 2? Task 1 and task 2 of CAP, sorry.
I have a question about task 2.
Okay, what can I help you with, Liz?
It says that we need to show it graphically. So our observations, what are some examples of what to put into a graph if we need to show it?
Yeah, good. Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that. I meant to address that. Graphically, you can pull in the areas of the teacher working condition survey that you're working with. You can pull up those bar graphs of what the responses were. If you're using PBIS data or attendance data, you know, any chart or graph is basically what you're looking for there. Any graphic representation of the data that you're pulling in. And I've seen, you know, like I said, I've seen bar graphs, I've seen charts, certainly that stuff that you pull off the teacher working condition survey. I've seen a lot of that too. Good question. Thank you for asking that. All right. Once again, you know, just to kind of recap, when we submit, I did not mean to do that. Sorry. The internship shell hasn't changed any. We're at the same place, and just like last year, or excuse me, last semesters, make sure that as you complete your task, you drop them in for review after you do your peer review. I'm not sure how Dr. Sanders is handling the peer review. And you guys remember Dr. Church and some of your other professors would say, you know, send it to me before you send it to Dr. Bullis. Dr. Sanders wants you to do that. That's fine. There's no problem at all. But once you satisfy everything you need to for that course, then you just drop your draft into the review tab. Excuse me, I had it down here, but it should be up here. The task for review. I'll give you feedback, send it back to you. If the revisions are good, and a lot of you now, you guys are doing so good at this, I tell you straight up, hey, this is great. Go ahead and drop it into the Dropbox. Not a lot of revision going on, or there wasn't last semester with most of you. But anyway, if you do drop it in your task 1 and task 2, I'll give you feedback. You revise it. You send it back to me, and once I check off that the revisions have been made, I'll tell you to drop it into the Dropbox for grading. Once it's in there, I'll grade it. Then when you get all the tasks drop in, 1, 2, 3, and 4, then you do the turn it in, and then I'll let you know when it's ready to go to task stream. So it's just a little review about that. That process hasn't changed at all. Once again, if you put something up there and it's been 24 hours and I haven't given you any revision, reach out to me. Reach out to me. It's going to be a pretty busy semester this semester, so don't hesitate to reach out to me if you've posted something or sent something there for revision and I haven't got back to you within about 24 hours. You still need to log your 80 internship hours. Next semester you'll finally turn that log in the task stream DRF, but make sure you got your 80 hours from last semester should already be established in this semester. And keep in mind, you're going to need to log 80 hours this summer too. So be thinking about that as well. That's a 10-week course. That's a summer course. You may want to go ahead and sign up to volunteer for some things. Let your site supervisor know that you're going to need to get 80 more hours in about a 10-week period of time during the summer as you wrap up the program. Any questions?
I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
The internship hours, if we're worried about getting everything for the summer, can we do more this semester and kind of, does it count if we do extra?
That's another good question. Talk to me if you think you're going to be, you got your 80 hours in towards the end of this semester and you think you're going to be short for the summer. Let's look at that on an individual basis. It really just depends on what the activity is. Yeah, there's certainly room there to log some stuff in if you're worried about getting it in for the summer. But want to make sure that it's relevant to what you're doing. If you're working like before the summer semester ends and you help start working on the schedule for next year, or you're doing some wrap up with the school improvement team, things of that nature, but it's kind of within that window, then certainly we can count that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you feel like you're going to be short, let me know ahead of time. Maybe as we get about 2/3 way through the semester, and we'll deal with that on the individual basis. Another good question. Yeah, we don't want anything. We don't want any roadblocks or stumbles to prevent you from wrapping this up in the summer. You guys have worked hard, put in a lot of effort, a lot of good quality work, so we will make sure we finish strong. So anything happens, if you get sick, God forbid you get sick, God forbid there's an emergency, God forbid there's a crisis, God forbid there's an accident. But if there is, please let us know, let me know as soon as possible so we can keep you on track. And number one thing is to pray for you, especially if there's some kind of emergency or crisis going on. But we certainly want to make sure that we stay in strong contact with you if anything like that, any crazy stuff happens. So we make sure we get you in good shape to finish. This is a good group. I know we got one more semester to go, but I'm going to miss you guys after the summer. I've really enjoyed working with all of you. You guys got high flying group. Going to be some really good administrators coming out of this group, and I'm proud of all of the work that you've done to this point. I know you're going to finish strong. So any questions, comments, questions, concerns for me? All right. Well, it's good to be working with you again, and reach out to me if I can help, and I'll be looking for your revisions and questions on email and on Blackboard. You guys have a great night, and God bless you.